I've been creating websites for over 10 years, and in this Bluehost WordPress tutorial for beginners, I'm going to show you step by step on how to create this exact website. If you've never created a website before or set up a hosting plan, there's no need to worry. I'm going to show you slowly, and I'm only going to show you and provide you the information that you need, including signing up for Bluehost at the cheapest price possible, as well as making your website look beautiful on mobile. So let's get started. We're going to sign up for a Bluehost WordPress account together. To get the cheapest price possible, you can go to this URL, type it into your web browser, and it'll redirect to the cheapest Bluehost plan. I'm going to click on View WordPress Plans right now, and I'm going to go with this $1.99 per month plan. Keep in mind this is for one website, and depending on when you're watching this tutorial, Bluehost may offer you a different price. They do offer different promotions or do change the rates from now and then. I'm going to click on Choose Plan. I'm going to create a domain. I recommend going with a .com domain. So I'll just type in Content Basecamp. And I also recommend keeping your ad domain privacy plus protection enabled, so your private information, including your address and your email address, doesn't show up on the public domains database. I'm going to click on Search for Domain. And here you create your account. So you type in your email and your password. These recommended add-ons, if any of them are enabled, you can disable or uncheck them. You don't really need any of these. Then you fill out your payment information. And right here is your personal plan. We're going with the one site plan. For most people that are starting a website, you really only need one website or a hosting plan that only hosts one website. You don't need multiple websites. If you do want to go with a different plan, then you can do so with a higher plan and install multiple WordPress websites. But I think this plan is good for now. And then we need to select a data center. So just click on that, click on the drop down, and select the data center that's closest to you or closest to your customers. I'll just go with USA, Arizona. And here you can see the 36-month plan. And here we have the domain that's free for a year. If you click on the drop down, you'll see the prices per month after the first year. Keep in mind, domain privacy plus protection is not free. It does cost money with Bluehost. And the professional email trial, I will remove this. I can enable that later or sign up for it later. And once all this information is filled out, you can click on Submit Payment. Once your payment goes through successfully, you can go to your account manager right here. And welcome to your Bluehost Dashboard. We'll quickly go over the Bluehost Dashboard. I'm on the dashboard homepage, and you can see the domain or the URL I just created. And in order to get to the WordPress admin or the WordPress dashboard, we can just click on this. We'll cover that in the next chapter, the WordPress dashboard and the interface. But if I go here to the websites section, you can see more information about my plan. And if I go to hosting, you can see I have the personal plan. It's the one site plan. And you can already see I used 0.47 gigabytes of my 1 gigabyte allowance. So you need to be mindful of that when you're uploading a lot of media or adding a lot of data to your WordPress website. The other thing is, if we go to email here, remember we skipped the professional email, but we can choose it if we want. And then there's also the security section and the billing. There's also this marketplace. Bluehost does upsell a lot of products. So if we go back to the dashboard, you can see it also upsells the chatbots, the AI chatbots. Then we also have the search help right here, or we can click right here as well. This AI search assistant or help assistant. And one thing you should do is go and click on your profile icon on the top right and then go to my profile. That'll go over some of the security steps that you should be setting up for your account. Bluehost will walk you through that. But other than that, the Bluehost dashboard is pretty standard. You don't need to be working or be on this page often. We'll be working within the WordPress admin mostly while we're updating our website. I'll also show you this domains section here. You can see this is the domain I also created. I'm the owner, and you can see when it expires, it's on auto renew. And yeah, so that's about it. Next, we'll get into the WordPress dashboard. We'll go over the WordPress admin dashboard. So I'm going to click on this button right here from the Bluehost dashboard. One thing you may want to do is favorite the Bluehost and the WordPress admin dashboards. So Bluehost is going to try to single sign on with your credentials, but if you get this error, just click on this button to go to dashboard. And here we are in the main window of the WordPress admin dashboard. So this is like the home page of the dashboard right here. You can see this welcome icon or this home icon here. We can visit our site by clicking right here, or I can click here. So I'll click on view to view my website. And this is just a starter theme with some starter or some dummy content, including some social media icons, a privacy and terms and conditions page, and a blog post. We'll take a look at these different type of options later on as we go throughout this tutorial. One thing you can see right away is this site preview. This site is not live, only admins can view or see this. So if I copy my URL right here, right now I'm in Chrome, Google Chrome, but I'll go to Safari. I'll paste in my URL and press enter. So this is what the public sees when they try to go to your website. But I'll go back to Chrome and I'll go back to the WordPress admin dashboard. And I'm just going to go over a few of these menu options and I'll show you the main places we're going to be working out of. So if I go to this dashboard here, you can see this is the main or the official WordPress dashboard. One thing is that many of these hosting plans, they put in their own links or menu options. So you can see there's a Bluehost WordPress dashboard, and then there's the regular standard WordPress dashboard. So this is standard. This is a part of WordPress, and this one, Bluehost, they automatically place it in. Different hosting plans may do different things with the menus. And then this is where we create a post. So if we want to write a blog post, we can click on add post. Here is the media, where we store or view all of our images and files. That's anything like media or even video. These are the pages. So you can see there's a default or automatic privacy policy page that was created. You may be wondering what's the difference between a post and a page. So a page is usually static, it's timeless, and you're usually not updating it often and not creating new pages often. So for example, a home page, a contact us page. If you're a business, you might have a customer testimonials page. As opposed to posts, posts are ongoing content that are dated that you upload or create on your website. So for example, if you're like a travel blogger and you visited Paris and you want to write your itinerary about it or your experience about it, you'll write a blog post about it. If you're a tech company or you're a tech blogger and you're reviewing tech gear, maybe you'll write a blog post about a MacBook Pro or a review of the newest MacBook Pro or the iPhone. So just keep that in mind. Pages are static. Blog posts or posts that are ongoing content that you add to your website. Sometimes you may even need to delete some posts if they're not doing well. The next thing I want to show you is the appearance. This is where we work with the themes. So this is the current theme that I have right now. So this is the theme we're looking at, and it's active. This is the Bluehost Blueprint theme. And these are some other WordPress default themes that are already installed, but they're not active. The next thing I want to show you are the plugins. So plugins are extensions to WordPress that allows you or allows your website to do additional capabilities. So one popular plugin is this Yoast SEO that helps with search engine optimization. It's owned by the same parent company as Bluehost, but many of these hosting companies, they install plugins that you don't need. So we'll clean that up later. We're going to update some of the general settings. So if we go to our website here, we can see on the browser tab right here, it says welcome, and it also says welcome here. So we're going to change that. So we're going to go back to the WordPress dashboard. Then we're going to go down to settings and then go to general settings. And then I'm going to update the site title to content Basecamp. And then I'm going to put a tagline. I'll just say how to create a WordPress website. And then I'm going to choose the site icon, which needs to be 512 by 512 pixels, or at least 512. I'm going to click on choose a site icon. I already have an icon ready. It's my logo for Content Basecamp. It's a PNG file. You can create free icons or logos using Canva. And I'm going to type in this alt text for good SEO practice or search engine optimization. I'll just type in Content Basecamp favicon. I guess it could be favicon or site icon. I'll just leave it as that. I'll set as icon. So we got the icon updated, the site title and the tagline. Keep in mind, once we install a theme or any future themes you install, sometimes themes will allow you to update the site title within themselves, including the tagline, which can override this, but this is where you would usually begin with updating your website name and your tagline or your slogan. Now we're going to go down here, and this administration email address is important because this is the email address you use to log into your WordPress admin panel, or this dashboard, I should say, instead of using this Bluehost dashboard and logging in the longer way. So you're going to want to update this administration email. Let's say the same email you use for your Bluehost account, or whatever your personal email is or your business email is. And once you update that, you will need to confirm the email, and then you'll have to click on save. There's also the site language, time zone, date format, and time format if you want to update it and when the week starts on. But everything else looks good for now. I'm not going to update my administration email address. I'll just keep it as this default just because this is a tutorial. So I'm going to click on Save Changes here. And while this is updating, I'll go to my account. And if I go to Websites here, and I go to Manage, and then I go to Users, you can see it's that same admin email for my website, Content Basecamp, right here. But I recommend setting it up to your own personal or business email. Anyways, this is updated now. So I updated it. It says settings saved. You can already see here the favicon or the site icon is updated. Let's see what happens when we refresh this. So I'm refreshing this, and the site icon has been updated here as well. And the name, Content Basecamp, is updated. So this is just some general information you should know when you're updating or first installing your WordPress website. Keep in mind, depending on different themes you use, there's different ways of updating all of this information. And we'll look at installing a theme and making this website or this page a little bit more prettier. I want to clean up my WordPress admin panel and the dashboard a little bit more. So right now I'm under the Bluehost settings here. And as you remember from before, my site's in site preview. It's not launched yet. I'm going to click on launch site here. And then I'm going to refresh this. And now you can see it's a live site. And if I go and view it in a separate browser, this top bar will be gone and it will be viewable to the general public. But I can enable this, enable coming soon again. So regarding the launch site, if you're just a blogger with no traffic or anything along those lines, it's not a big deal if you launch the site right away. But if you're an established brand or business, you're not going to want to launch the site. You want to first create your entire site, then launch it. The reason I'm telling you this is because I'm going to disable this whole area and this Bluehost setting just to clean up my admin panel a little bit more in WordPress. And before I do that, I'm going to go to the dashboard here. And you can see the dashboard. It's full of information here. And it depends on your hosting plan or the hosting company. They set up the dashboard with pre-installed plugins and the settings, and they show you different things. If you want to hide some of these modules or widgets, they're called, you can go to screen options here, and you can see there's a bunch of stuff checked off or enabled, and you can uncheck the ones that you don't want, but I'll just keep them all enabled for now. And what I'm going to do is clean up my plugins section because there's a few plugins that I don't need. So I just clicked on plugins here and it automatically goes to installed plugins. And there's different ways of removing the plugins. We can just click on deactivate and then I can click on submit and deactivate the plugin, but the plugin will still be available in my plugins section. I still haven't clicked on deactivate. The other option is I can also delete some of these plugins as well, or I can bulk delete them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the ones that we don't need. So I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to actually click on deactivate. I'll just click on other. I'll click on submit. So now it's deactivated. It's Google Analytics for WordPress by Monster Insights. And these ones, I can deactivate all these as well. Let me see. So Jetpack Boost, Opt-in Monster, the Bluehost plugin. So the Bluehost plugin will delete this right here, and my site will be automatically live. It won't have the pre-launch or coming soon welcome screen. I'm going to go to deactivate. I'll click on apply. And then I'm going to select these, the ones that we don't need. I'll keep this anti-spam plugin. It's pretty good for comment or comment spam protection. You can activate this later. And these ones here, I'm going to get rid of. WP Forms, we'll keep that, and Yoast SEO will keep that. I'll go to bulk actions. I'll go to delete, click on apply, and it's going to delete these. One thing is you don't want to keep plugins deactivated and still installed. You want to usually delete them or activate them. They take up space, or they can also be a risk to hacking or viruses. So you always want to delete them or activate them. So just remember that for the future. So you can see the Bluehost panel is gone. And if I go to dashboard here, my dashboard looks a little bit more clean now. If I go to screen options, there's less options here as well. That's because we deleted some of the plugins. And if I go to Content Basecamp and if I refresh this, it shows an active site. We'll now install a theme into our WordPress website to make it look a little bit better. Let's take a look at our current website. So it looks pretty basic right now. And if we go back to our WordPress admin dashboard, you can see under the appearance section, there's a themes, editor, and fonts section. Right now we're in the themes section, and we have the Bluehost Blueprint as the active theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Add Theme right here. And I'm going to search for the Kadence theme. This is a free theme, and it's this theme right here, Kadence. I can click on it to preview it, but it looks pretty basic right now. I'll X out of this because we're going to install a template or a starter website. So I'm going to click on Install here to install this theme. I'm going to click on Activate. Now you can see on the appearance section or the appearance menu, there's a few more options here. There's the design, customize, widgets, and menus, as well as this Kadence menu right here. This allows us to further refine our website. So let's go to our actual live website here. And I'm going to press Ctrl R or Command R to refresh the web page. So it looks slightly different because we don't have much content on our website. And I'm going to go back to my WordPress admin here. And if we look at our posts, we only have this Hello World post. And I'm actually going to delete it. So I'll click on Trash. And then I'm going to go to our Pages section here. And we have this privacy policy. This is pretty good to keep. And it looks like it's in draft right now. So we'll just keep it in draft right now. I'll go back to our website and refresh this. And this is how it looks. Just a search bar at the bottom of this theme. Now I'm going to go back to our WordPress admin panel. I'm going to go back to the appearance section here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of these themes that I don't need. It just takes up space and can cause problems in the future if I don't keep them updated. So I'm going to click on the Bluehost Blueprint theme. I'm going to click on Delete. I'll click on OK. I'm going to do this for the 2025 theme as well. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click on Delete. And this saves us a little bit of space. And I'm going to do it for this one as well, 2024. And as you can see, WordPress usually comes out with a default annual theme and they just title it or name it the year. So this is 2023. I'll delete it. I'll click on OK. So now we just have this theme here. There's different ways to customize this theme, which we'll take a look at right now. I can click on Customize here. I can click on Customize here. You can see there's different options here and some of the same options are here. Even without this theme, if I'm using another theme, WordPress allows multiple ways to update a theme, such as the colors or fonts. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to import a template or a starter template or a starter website. So I'll click on Kadence here or here. And then I'm going to go to starter templates right here. I'm going to click on Install Kadence Starter Templates right here. And now you can see this menu that pops up, this Site Assist. I'm going to click on this to get started. So this is a pre-designed template. I'm going to click on this. And now we have quite a few templates available to us under the Kadence theme. There's free ones and premium ones. I'm going to click on this free only. We can search for themes by category here as well. And let's just take a look at one really quick. Let's take a look at this influencer one. And here's the home page, the about page, portfolio page, and so forth. I'm just going to go back to starter templates. And I think I'm going to go with, let's see here. I'm going to go back to free here. And I like this interior design theme right here. It's very minimalistic. It's pretty good for blogging or a lifestyle template or a lifestyle blog. You can probably even use it for a freelance website, or if you're a freelancer, or a digital marketer. So there's different themes you can choose, or templates, I should say. And then we have on the left-hand side, the color options. So you can see I can click on this color here. The accents changed. If I go to our portfolio, we can see here I can change the colors. Sometimes not all the colors will change. So you can see this background right here. If I click on these different color combinations or palettes, it changes. But I think we'll notice the most noticeable change on the home page, I think. Yeah, so I think it looks most obvious when I'm playing with the color palettes on the home page. So if I click here, you can see the different color palettes just like that. I'm going to clear the selection and I'm just going to keep it as the default color palette, just in case people jump to future chapters and are looking at this website. I think I'll just keep it at clear selection. Plus, we'll see in the future different ways to change the color. But then I'll go to fonts. So now the fonts are loaded and I can see the different font combinations while I cycle through them, and they're named right here. So let's say this one, for example, this is Antict, Didon, and Railway. I'm not even too sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But these font combinations, they look pretty interesting, or they work pretty well while I'm cycling through them. So they look good. But once again, I'll click on clear selection. So right now we're in the style area. I'll click on next. And now we're in the content section. And the content section has import full site, or I can only import a certain template or a certain page. So I'm going to go to import full site just to import this entire thing. And then there's these advanced settings, import customizer settings, and import widgets. We'll keep that on. And then the plugins right here, the Kadence blocks, we will need this to customize the website further, the Kadence blocks. And once we're done with that, we'll click on finish and launch, and I'll start the import. We now have the template installed. So let's go to my pages right here and go back to the dashboard. So you can see the Kadence template installed all those pages that we saw. And if I go to posts, you can see it automatically installed these posts as well right here. And if I go to my website, my live website, and refresh this, this is how it looks. So great. So now we have the theme installed and we are starting with a starter template, which is free and it's by Kadence. So you should be pretty happy and proud of yourself that you've come this far. This top section is called the header. We have the logo right here, the navigation or the menu options, and we have the social media icons right here. We can customize this by clicking on customize, or I can go back to my WordPress dashboard, and in this site assist, I can start following these steps to update or customize my website. And as you remember, we already provided like a site title, tagline, and a site icon. And the interior design template by Kadence, it has this logo. I should be unchecking this really, but it's already checked off. There's also the design and customization. And I was just talking about customizing the header here. Again, this is the header. Or we can also go to the appearance menu and go to Kadence to customize the template. So there's different ways to customizing it. But right now I'll just click on branding right here and click on customize. So this brings us back to the home page, and now we have a live view of the home page while we're customizing it. And right now here's the logo. What we can do is we can change the logo here, and then we can upload our own image. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this, and instead of uploading my own image, I'm just going to click on remove, and then I'm going to click on this logo and title right here. And as you can see, it says Content Basecamp. If I update this and just type in some dummy text, it'll get updated. And remember, I also have the tagline right here. If I put logo, title, and tagline, it'll come up like this. We can further customize this if we want, but I think I'll just keep it on logo and title right here. And that looks good. The next thing is we already have the site icon enabled and set up, so we don't need to update that. I'll go to design here. And for the logo or my text-based logo, I'm going to change the font to something that looks pretty or matches this. I'll go and type in the font Montserrat right here. Could be pronouncing it wrong. I think that looks good. I'll select the style, and the style is kind of like the boldness or the thickness. I think 500 or maybe regular looks good. Yeah, I think just regular looks good. And it looks like this color is a little bit on the gray side. So I'll select this icon, this global select color. And I think I'll select this dark gray right here. And it's a little bit lighter. So I think that looks pretty good right now. We don't need to mess with the padding or anything along those lines. So we were able to update our logo to a text-based logo. And another thing is we'll be updating these menu options as we work through this Bluehost WordPress tutorial. We may be also deleting some of these. We don't need all of these pages. And regarding the social media icons, let's go take a look at that. So I'm going to click on back right here. And I'm going to go to social right here. And you can see the social media icon options. I can add a social media icon if I want, but I don't think I need to. And then set social links. So here's where you put your social links. So you put the URL or the website address. So here we have Facebook, X, or Twitter, and Instagram. So you can update them all right here. And you may want to click on open social links in a new tab. So when somebody clicks on this, it'll open up in a new browser or tab. Usually I like doing that for external websites. I'll click on back right here, and I'll click on back again. I'll just go back to the header section here. And this is the primary navigation, this menu right here that I'm talking about. We'll work on that as we go through this tutorial, but the main thing I wanted to update here is this header and this logo right here. So now you know how to update the logo and the social media links right here. And before we forget, we need to make sure we publish our changes just like that, and we're good to go. I now want to show you that we can make further updates or visual changes to the header up here. So I'm going to go and click back on the header here. And remember, we saw these options a little bit earlier, but in the bottom, we have these blocks that we can customize. So for example, this portion of the header is represented by the logo here. And on the right side, the primary navigation and the social icons. So I can click on the social icons right here. Now let's say, for example, I use Facebook and Instagram, but not Twitter or X. I can click on that and I can just remove the item. I'll click on publish because I just want to save that change for now. I'm just going to get rid of the X icon. But what I can also further do is while I'm here, I can add other modules or blocks. So let's say, for example, to the right of the logo, I can click on this plus sign here, and then I can add in a button. So now you can see the button has showed up here. If I want to customize this button, I can click on this cog wheel right here, and then I can change the label. I could put in like a CTA, call to action, or sign up now, or maybe even learn more. Of course, you wouldn't put a button up here. Usually it doesn't look that aesthetic. It's just to show you an example that you can customize this header. And of course, I can go on the design and then make further changes to the colors and so forth, and change the size of the button just like that. And maybe even put in a border radius just like that to 20. So now even the button looks a little bit better on my header than it initially was looking. And if I go back to general, I can make the button open up somewhere else. And of course, I can put the URL here. The other thing I can also do with this button is I can click, hold, and drag on the module, and then I can put it to the left right there. Or maybe I can put it to the right there, learn more or read more. I can also put this button at the top of the header or at the top of the main section of the header, just like that, or just like that. I'm going to click on the X icon right here to remove the button. We've previously looked at different ways of updating our header here, including by going to this header customization option. But what we haven't done is taken a look at our website on a tablet or a mobile phone. So we can preview that by clicking on the tablet mobile module or menu tab right here, or we can click on these icons right here. So I'll click on the tablet icon, and this is how it looks like on tablet. It's a rough preview. It's not always 100% accurate. And I'll show you the mobile version. And this is the mobile version. And as you can see here, this text, "We are innovators," is a little bit off, but on the live website, I checked on my iPhone, it is accurate and the spacing is correct. So when you are making a website that's mobile friendly, you don't want to have too much media or text or fill up your website and make it look clunky. You want to make it look as simple or aesthetic as possible so that it looks good on tablet and mobile. And if there are any issues, it's easier to correct. Now, if I go to design here, we can adjust when the smartphone or the mobile view changes here, or the tablet view. Right now it's on a default according to Kadence. Let's just leave that alone. The other thing is this trigger right here. We can change the icon and then we can change the design, but we can leave that alone. And if I go and scroll up, we have the menu right here. So if I click on it, here's the menu, and here is the mobile navigation. I can click on it and adjust it if I want with some of these options. One thing I noticed already is there's no social media icon. So you can see here, there's no social media icons. So what we can do is hover over here, click on this plus sign, and then we can pull in this social media icon or click on it just like that. And if we look here, the social media icons are here. But like I said, the more stuff you add onto a mobile view or a mobile website, it's going to look more clunky. So I'm just going to close this and remove the social media icon. The one thing I already noticed is regarding the header, there's no title or header here. So let's go back to the header section and to this logo. So usually when we update the logo on the desktop right here, it trickles down onto the tablet and smartphone. So we can see it has it on the smartphone, but not on the tablet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on logo and title here. And let's see if it gets updated. So it's updated here, the title. Now let's go to the mobile view right here. One thing is this title is a little bit too big. So I'm going to go to design. I'm going to go to the font size. And I'm going to put in 17. And I'll click out of there. And it should take a few seconds to update. Let me double check this. And let me go to this tablet view and now this mobile view. So the site title font isn't updating. So I think I need to click on this right here, logo and title. Let's take a look at it. It's still not updating. Let's get it bigger. Let's get it to 17. Okay, so now it works. So it's a little bit finicky there. but we were able to get it corrected. Great, so now we have the header title a decent size, and we also have it displayed correctly now on the tablet version. As we work through updating our website, specifically this home page, we'll take a look at how the layout looks on tablet as well as mobile. Now I'll just publish these changes and we're good to go. I'm going to click back here all the way to the back, and I'm going to go to colors and fonts and make a few changes to the colors here. I'm going to go to desktop view, and as you probably remember at the beginning when we installed the Kadence theme and the starter template, we had color palette options, but we just stuck with the default. I want some of these colors to slightly match my logo or my site icon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the contrast color and this base color. So for the base color, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to type in or paste my hexadecimal code for my color palette right here. And if you want to know more about choosing color palettes and color theory, I'll leave a link below, including a link to a website that helps select good color palettes. Now I'm going to change the contrast color and I'm going to type in the hexadecimal code or paste it in. So now we can see these colors look a little bit better and match my logo. This isn't the best color branding course or tutorial, but this works for now. The next thing I'm going to do with the colors is I'm going to click on back, and then I'm going to go to base button styles. And the next thing I'll do is go to text colors. I'll select this darker text right here to update this. And then for the background color, I'm going to select this pink that we had already, which is the same color. That looks good. So now you can see the style looks a little bit different as I scroll down. And we can change all of these colors, but if you start going overboard with vibrant or saturated colors, it can look off, and I want to keep this tutorial a little bit simple. But let's take a look at our about page. Let's see if it gets updated or not. So it doesn't get updated live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on publish here, and I'm going to close this. And now I'm going to go to the about page, and now we can see it looks a little bit better. Let's go to our portfolio, starting to look good. We'll now take a look at updating the content on our home page. So I just clicked on the home page link and we're on the home page. One way to edit this content is by clicking on the edit page right here. But instead, I'm going to go to my WordPress dashboard and I'm going to go to the pages section. And here is our home page. You can see here for the blog role, it says post page. And for the home, it says front page. And just keep that in mind because I'm going to click on the home page here. And whenever you're creating a page and you want to set that page to your home page, or let's say a blog roll page, you would click on this vertical ellipsis, and then there'll be an option to set it as the front page or blog roll page. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, we're looking at the builder of this front page or the home page and how it looks and how it's designed. So whatever changes we make to this and save, it'll come in the front end. And if you don't see this block or page area, you can click on this tab icon right here or this panel icon to bring this up. So with this Kadence theme with WordPress and this template, this homepage is broken down into rows and sections. So I'm going to show that to you by clicking on this icon right here. It says document overview, and you can see it's broken down into row layouts. So if I click on this, this is one row. If I click on this, this is the second row. And if I click on this, this is the third row, and it just keeps going down by rows. Now I'll go back to the top row here, and I can click on this drop down or this arrow pointing right. And now each row is broken down into sections. So this is one section right here. You can see this blue rectangle overlay. And this is another section. So you can see it's kind of like two columns. If I go to the row layout here, you can see it's a 2-column build right here. I can change it to 1. I can change it to 3, and then it starts looking funky and taking up space. So I would need to add more content or media here. But I'm going to go back to 2. And if you look at this row layout section here, there's different options to stylize it, including changing the background color or putting a background image. Then there's some advanced settings of, let's say, changing the padding or the spacing between the top and bottom with the padding or the margin. We won't be adjusting any of that. We want to keep this a little bit simple. I'll go back to layout. The other thing I want to show you is once I click on this section, I can click on this other drop down, and now you can see how this section is broken down into. It has an actual other row right here with this and this. So we got these headers right here that we can change. And then there's this button right here. So you got to be careful while you're moving and working through this. Sometimes you can realign these. So for example, I can click, hold, and drag this section and put it here below or on another row to realign it. So there's different ways of formatting it, but I want to keep this as simple as possible. Now let's say, for example, this section right here, this is a header. If I don't like it, I can click right here and I can delete it. I can also click right here and delete it while it's highlighted. And keep in mind, I can always add other sections. So there's a plus icon here, and there's a whole bunch of modules or tools that you can add into your homepage or onto your Kadence theme. Some of these are provided by Kadence, some of them are default by WordPress, and Kadence also has like their premium or pro tools. I'm going to click on X here. I'm going to go back and click on this ellipsis to see this breakdown. So let's go take a look at the button here. So this is the button. Remember we changed the color earlier through the color palettes. If I go to the advanced section, actually let me click on the buttons right here and click on explore. And now I see the style option. I can override the color of the button here by clicking here, and let's say I want to select this color right here, and this is actually the text color I changed, and then I can change the background color to, let's say, blue, just like that. Obviously it doesn't look good, but I'm just demonstrating that you can change it. I'm going to click on this back or reset button to keep it at the default colors. Now, one thing I want to do is with this image, I'm going to see if I can select it. Doesn't look like I selected it well. Let me double check. So I'm going to go to this section here. I'm going to click on this image. So now I got this image selected, I believe. Yeah, so it looks like it's selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on replace this image. I'm going to click right here, this edit link, and I'm going to paste in a URL from Pexels, a free stock website for stock photos that I already have ready. And there you go. So it's been replaced. Let me make sure I'm on this image here. And if I go to the block section here, I can make different type of aspect ratios, but I'll just keep it at 3:2. And then I can change some of the margins here. If I go to style or the advanced, I can change the padding and the margin, but I'll just keep it like that. You can see there's this plus sign images right here. I'll click on that. So if you want to change that icon right here, you can do that, but I'm just going to keep it at the default. Now I want to update some of this text here. So here, I'm just going to double click and highlight, and I'll type in Bluehost and WordPress. And here I'm going to change this to how to make WordPress website. Sometimes you got to be careful while you're like typing in these texts. It may overlap or go on to a different section. Just because of the advanced section, you can see Kadence with this starter template has the margins adjusted. So if you start making the text here too long or too short, it can look a little bit funky. Let me take a look at the tablet view. The tablet view doesn't look good, but I'm pretty sure it looks pretty good on the live website on a tablet or iPad. And this is the mobile view. So I think you guys have a good understanding of how the homepage works and how we can change the text, the image, and the sections and move it around. I don't want to go over each one of these and make this tutorial too long. Just remember, many of these, or almost all of them, you can delete if you don't want them or don't need them, or you can add more rows here. Let me see, here's the row layout. So you can add rows and sections to customize your homepage. I'm just going to click right here. And I think I like how this looks right now, how to make a WordPress website. Updated this, Bluehost and WordPress, and I updated this image. So I'm going to click on save right here. Great, so I saved this. Now I'm going to speed through this and update all of this just to make it relatable to my website that I want for Content Basecamp. It'll be something simple. And yeah, so I'll speed through that. So this is the finished homepage that I already saved. I kept a lot of the dummy text, so some of the text or the wording could be a little bit confusing, but I think the design looks a lot better now. One thing to keep in mind is if you do want to update the text of the button, you can just double click on it, highlight the text, and change it. The other thing that might be confusing is this section right here, this image. So this image right here, it's an image of a play button. So it's a play button, but there's an image on the background which belongs to this row. Let me double check if I have the row selected. So great, yeah, so I have the row selected. So there's two images, this play button image and the row background image under the style, which I changed. So this isn't actually a live video player. If you do want to delete this entire thing, you can like delete the row or delete the section and delete the background image. And then you could go to this icon right here, the plus sign, and then you could embed a YouTube video if you want. So that's how you would do it. So just be mindful of that for this part of the image. If you're changing it, keep in mind you can delete a lot of these rows to make your website a little bit more simple. I already saved this, so this is what my homepage looks like. And it looks a lot better. And you can see I just changed some of the text here to match like a website design or how to make a website. I'm going to show you how to change the primary or main navigation menu at the top, as well as add one at the bottom in the footer. There's a few ways to do it, but first I'm going to go to my WordPress dashboard and I'm going to go to the pages section here. And with this privacy policy that's in draft mode, I'm just going to publish it right now. And one thing you want to make sure you do is put your own privacy policy, or maybe even use like ChatGPT, or find a third-party company that provides privacy policies online. So that's done here. I can click on View Page to see it. It's very simple. This is the general or standard privacy policy that's already included with the theme or template. I will close this. I will go back here to my dashboard. I'm going to click on Add Page here. And I'm just going to add in a simple terms and conditions page, just like that. And this slug will control the URL. So it'll be contentbasecamp.com/terms and conditions. And I'm going to paste in some dummy text here. And I will just publish that as well. And I'm going to click on View Page just to see how it looks. Okay, great. So I have this dummy page as well. Now I'm going to go back to the dashboard by just clicking on my logo here. And there's a few ways to get to the menu. So I can go to Appearance, and I can go to Menus here, and then I can adjust the menus. So right now I'm in the footer menu. I can go to the main primary menu and select it. And here you can see how the menu is organized. I can move these around. I can delete it. And then I can add more stuff to it by using these modules right here. But instead, I'm going to go to the home page, to the front side, to the front end. I'm going to click on Customize here. And then I'm going to go to Menus here. I'm going to click on this primary menu here. And then you can see how this is organized here. So you can see it's home, then about. I can rearrange this just like that, and it changes. I can drop it down just like that. Then you can see the pages and the sub pages right here, or the sub menu. So if I click on the drop down here, you can see that it has a parent menu. And in order to see that, I need to go to the main menu here. And if I click here, you can see the menu parent, and it shows pages. So sometimes you may need to work in the back end here in the dashboard to adjust that. Let's double check if I can move it around our services. And yeah, so see, you can change it in the front end as well, but I'm going to put this back where it was. Whoops, I made a mistake here. And just like that. Okay, so I made a mistake here, and it looks kind of weird, our services in our blog. So what I'll just do is I will X that, and I won't save it. And instead, I will click on Customize again. And this time I'll go to the menus. But anyways, I showed you how you can move around the menus, and then I can also add an item here, and I can add certain pages that I already have, such as this terms and conditions page that I created. And let's see, or the privacy policy page that I just published. I can also add in blog posts that I have. But instead, I'm going to X this. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on back. I can also create a new menu, but instead I'm going to go to the footer menu. And let's scroll down to the bottom. Depending on when you start with this Kadence theme and starter template, you may already have some footer menus available. So just keep that in mind. But since I don't have anything right now, maybe I deleted it accidentally while I was showing you the template, but I'll click on Add Items, and I'm going to add the pages. So let me double check here. I'm going to go to Pages. I'm going to click on Privacy Policy, and then I'm going to click on Terms and Conditions. And then I'm going to click on Publish here. Okay, you can see here there was an issue with my footer menu. So I added privacy policy and terms and conditions, but now some of the other stuff came back. That's kind of duplicating it. So it's a good idea or a good chance to edit this footer menu. Let me go here. Let me refresh this. Let me go to footer. Whoops, not that. Let me go to menus, footer menu. Now I think what I'll do is I'll just delete some of these. I'll delete the Our Services. I'll click on remove. I'll click on contact, remove. Now that looks a little bit better. Home, privacy policy, about, terms and conditions. Sometimes you can repeat the same menu in the main top menu as well as the footer, but I'll just click on publish now. And that's how you work with the menus to change the primary menu and the footer menu. I'm going to give you a quick overview on how to create a blog post in WordPress. I'm going to go to the blog posts page, which contains all of my blog posts. And if I click on one blog, here it is. And right off the bat, we can see one issue here by admin. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the dashboard first. I'm going to go to users. I'm going to click on myself here. Then I'm going to type in my real name. Just like that. And I'll just put the nickname just like that. And I'll put the display name as King Kong. And then I'm going to go to the bottom. I'm going to click on update profile. Now, if I click on refresh, you can see this digital experience blog post is by King Kong. I'm going to go back to the blog roll or the blog post page here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to posts. I'm going to click on add post. Then I'm going to type in a title, color, theory of web design. And then there's some AI help here. I'm just going to hide it or remove it for all posts. And I'm going to type in some lorem ipsum text, just like that. And just like the pages, I can add more items or modules just by going over here and clicking right here. Sometimes there'll be a plus sign right here to add more modules or to continue writing just like that. And next, on the right-hand side, on the post section, I can change the URL slug. And then I'm also going to need to add a featured image. It's usually good practice. I'll go to pixels. I'll type in color theory. Let's see what that pops up. I will select this here. I will click on download image. And there's an alt text already popped up for SEO purposes. So I'll click on set featured image. That looks good. Now we also have categories to group our blog posts. So I'll just select this design one here. It's a good idea to categorize your blog posts, but you don't need to go overboard with creating multiple categories. You can add a new one if you want. There's also tags, which is another grouping system, but usually these days I don't use tags. And we can add more images to this blog post if we want, but we don't need to. There's also the Yoast SEO icon right here that we can click on. And we can put in a focus key phrase or keyword to help us with our SEO. I'll just go out of that. And there's also the Yoast SEO box right here. Let me see if I can maximize it. I can put in the focus key phrase here. I can put in an SEO title, my own SEO title. I can delete these variables. I can put in a meta description if I want. And then there's some more Yoast assistance here if you want to take a look at that. But let me minimize that. And I think this looks good. I can preview this on tablet or on mobile without the featured image, of course. And I can preview it in a new tab. Let's see how it looks. So it'll look like this, not too bad. I will close this and then I'm going to publish this post. Great, and here's a URL if you want to copy it, but I'm going to go back to the blog roll page here, and I'm going to refresh this, and then as you can see, our blog post is showing up as the next blog. I'm going to quickly show you how to update the blog role or the blog archive layout, which is the same thing as the posts page. So here you can see our latest blogs, and then we can go to customize. Then we can go to post pages layout. Here we could change the single post layout, but I'm going to go to the archive layout to change this. We can show the archive title or hide it. And depending on other settings throughout your WordPress or Kadence theme and template, some of these settings will work, some of them won't. So let's say for the container width, I go to full width. So nothing happens. Contained, it does happen. So you can see there's a little change there. Then we can change the archive layout. So you can see it's a little bit more narrow or full width. I'll just reset this. And maybe the most important thing is the post archive columns, how many columns you want. And of course, if you go with one column, you want to decrease the size of this, you can go to narrow. So narrow looks a little bit better, but I think post archive columns with 3 looks good. And then you can change these post elements if you want to hide it or change the size of them or whatnot. But I'm just going to X out of this. This is just to show you that you can change it and where to change it. You can see the header logo here is a little bit off. It's a little bit too small. So let me get that corrected. I probably messed it up when I was showing you guys the header title. So I'll go to the header, go to the logo, go to the design. So I'm on desktop right here. I think it was on like 26 or something. I'll just keep it on that. And let me double check on tablet. I think it looks good on tablet. And I even think this might be a little bit off. I think now that looks like 26. So let me double check here on desktop, tablet, and mobile. So I'll publish that. And I'll close this. Okay, so the header logo has been corrected. And that looks good now. We're going to wrap up this Bluehost WordPress tutorial. But before I do, I want to show you a few things. So regarding the blog role, if we go to a blog post, we can see there's no comments enabled. We can change that by going to customize, then go to post pages layout, go to single post layout, scroll to the bottom and click on show comments. And here it is. Here are the comments. And of course, we would need to publish it. The other thing is to control the comments and the spam. We can go to our dashboard, go to settings, go to discussion. Then you can see some of the comment or the discussion options here, and then you would just change it and save it. The other thing about comments is you want to go to the plugins and activate this Axmemet anti-spam protection. So you need to activate it and then go through the steps of setting it up. The other thing I wanted to show you are the pages and the posts here. There are a lot of filler pages and blog posts. So you're going to want to delete the ones that you don't want. You want to put them in the trash or move them to the trash. The other thing is the media or the images. So with all these filler images that we have here, you will need to bulk select them, and then you will need to delete them to save space on your hosting plan. The next thing I want to point out is under the contact form here, For the most part, this default contact form, it's not going to work just because when WordPress sends out an email, it sends it out through PHP and it's usually caught as spam. I'm going to be creating another tutorial on how to set up a contact form using WP Forms. So for the most part, you may want to delete this section in the meantime. Other than that, if you guys have any suggestions for future tutorials on how to improve it or have any other comments, make sure to leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. And as always, live easy, sleep breezy, and stay lovely.